I apologize, Monkey. We're 2 minutes late. And it's unforgivable, but you have adorable little paws, so it's okay. All right, everybody. Hey, I kept the stash for the month. The beard will grow out around it. I hope you're all happy. We're stashing it up for all of Movember. Yeah. So, how's everyone doing today? You guys rocking and rolling? Feeling good? Excellent. What do we have going on today, Monkey? Oh, yeah. They raised interest rates. The market went, woohoo! And then, yesterday. Today, we got a short attack on GameStop. Quite a big one. Where'd we go? Gotta open up my quick reference guide here. Yeah, we went from up 27, hammered it back down again. Yeah, it happens. It's what they do. Some stocks I can't name keep doing really well. Here we are. We are in a doldrum. Things are going to be a little tepid, a little weird, probably until we get election results Tuesday night, and the futures market might start doing things. And then in the days following the election, we will hear about, and this is all speculation on my part, but we'll hear about basically the Fed, the SEC, the FTC just like taking their hands off the wheel and going, take the wheel, Jesus. And the market's going to do what the market does. So we're just kind of in this slack tide between shifts. We don't quite know exactly what's going to be happening here. Okay. P. Kumar, Houston, what is the worst case scenario for Acme? Is there any possible way SEC short hedge funds would not let it squeeze? I don't think there's a power in the world to keep happening. The one thing that can happen is that the SEC can reject S1 forms again, tell them, go back and write it again. And then they go back and write it again. And maybe they just keep doing that until the SEC gets sued. But I've never heard of a S1 getting sent back more than 4 times, though. So this is the third incarnation. So it might get sent back once more. And we'll see what like little tweak of language they require them to do. But it can't last forever. They're gonna have to let them go private. Let a company like Acme go private at some point. And when it does, you can't have synthetic shares on a private stock. So, boom. Just in my head, any bullish GME catalysts on the calendar? Monkey butt. What are you doing over there? Not that I know of. I don't know if there's any specific calendar things. Oh, look at it. Girls for XYZ. Girls for XYZ, you guys need to learn to like super chat that stuff. Like, you know, hide user on this channel. There we go. Like super chat it, and then, you know, I'll be like, all right, girls XYZ, send me $2. Cool. I don't know of any particular catalysts on the calendar at the moment. All I know is that the days to cover are insane, that it took out just an incredible amount of shares borrowed last week. My feeling is most of those shares are used to pay off previous borrowing of shares, using the credit card to pay off a credit card type thing. We see now that Credit Suisse is holding a giant bag of these bullet swaps. And I don't really understand the bullet swaps entirely. From what I get is that you create a swap, and that swap is meant to like maintain value. And so if one of the obligations of that swap rises too much, the firm that managed that swap automatically does another swap to like keep the value under wraps. And all those swaps have a huge processing fee. And so what you do is you like pay the lifetime's worth of fees up front to like maintain a level of value in those swaps. The problem is that when they calculate these bullet swaps, they don't calculate it figuring there's going to be short squeezes involved. And so now they're desperately trying to like keep the level of this debt at some point by like maneuvering stuff around inside those baskets. And it's just out of control. Because a lot of that debt was possibly done when the stocks were at $1 or $2. And now the stocks are at the equivalent of $20, $30, $100, whatever. I may have to have someone who understands the bullet swaps way better than I do to come on and just like download it into our brains. But regardless, however the mechanisms are for it, Credit Suisse is sitting on like billions of dollars of those just from Archegos. And if Credit Suisse is sitting on billions of dollars of those just from Archegos, then Nomura is, then Goldman Sachs is, and JP Morgan is, and was it Deutsche Bank was the fifth one? I can't remember what the fifth one was that they were involved with. But if that's the bag they're holding from one medium-sized family fund, then what's it like for the 5,000 to 7,000 other family funds and hedge funds? My guess is that it's that every day these investment banks look at their liabilities and go, oh, shit. And that's why you see Credit Suisse trying to spin off their investment bank from their commercial bank. And you see reports about Goldman Sachs trying to break into 3 different entities because their liabilities are so big, they need to make sure that their assets are not attached at all to their liabilities because they know it's going to implode. And when it does, it's going to suck the wealth out of every other part of every business venture they have, and they're just going to collapse. So it's better to just like push it out on the ice flow and watch it just sail away and go, well, that'll be the government's bag when it happens. So, yeah. There we go. Okay, so what else was I going to talk about? Monkey, you're a floor dog now. You have no ability to answer me. Oh yeah. So far it's been 1 week since Elon purchased Twitter, and it's kind of a disaster so far. Advertisers are leaving. Lots of nefarious actors went like, woohoo, we can be as racist as we want. And then they discovered that because advertisers are leaving, Elon had to like delete their accounts, and now they're really mad at him. So he's losing his base of really hateful people. They were like, yeah, Elon's awesome. And then Elon's now trying to charge the checkmarked folks for being checkmarked, when being checkmarked is basically a public service that social media has to do so that you know you are interacting with the real person and not, say, someone pretending to be Brad Pitt and then luring, people off to their demise by like, oh yeah, I really am Brad Pitt. You want to go on a date sometime? And then, they get kidnapped or whatever, which apparently happened with one of the stars of True Blood. Was that somebody was on social media pretending to be him and lured children away. And the dude from True Blood was not ever on social media. He didn't have social media accounts at all. And all of a sudden he's like, oh my gosh, I've got to create social media accounts just so that it could be a check next to my name. So people know that when someone's pretending to be me, that it isn't actually me. Pretty phenomenal thread that he wrote about that experience. Like, he's like, I hate social media. I'm not on it at all, but I have to have this account just to make sure that children aren't being lured away by like evil people pretending to be me. And so now Elon wants to be like, well, you got to pay $8 a month or $20 a month or whatever to have that verification. Okay. So now that there's going to be, they don't pay, there's going to be hundreds of people pretending to be, I don't know, George Clooney or something. And you won't know. You won't know if you're interacting with the real George Clooney, and you might get fooled. You might get lured off to the woods, and that's it. So, making your platform less safe in a goal to raise a whopping $7 million. That's what he would raise. $7 million. Wow. Based on the number of people willing to pay for that and the number of check marks there are, $7 million. to like destroy his own platform. I mean, these are the people that most people are on social media for a reason. Like, I pissed off some guys because I pointed out, they're like, these stupid blue check marks, they just, rah, rah, rah. And I was like, buddy, you follow 148 people, 130 of them are check marks. You are on this platform specifically to follow these people. They're creating a content, drawing eyes to your website, which allows you to sell ads, which is how you make your money. And now you're going to make it less appealing for them to be on your website, which is going to make there's less traffic, which makes your ads worth less, which means you're going to lose more money than you were making before. It's quite a silly thing. I mean, YouTube pays me to create content. Not much, but they pay me, right? They're not going to charge me to put these videos up there when I'm making the money. That would be a silly thing to do and would not entice anybody to make content for their platform. If I had to like pay $100 just to put one of these videos up, you wouldn't see me putting videos up, right? You want people to create content, you got to make it enticing for them and not, not piss them off. Okay. Oh, hey there we go. Purportedly stupid. Could our universe be the result of a black hole gobbling up enough matter and energy to reach a threshold where it burps out a big bang? That is the big crunch theory. So there were 3 predominant theories as to how the universe would die. And one of them was a big crunch. That is, everything goes boom, spans outwards, gets to a point where it slows down from gravitational pull, stops, and then starts to collapse in on itself. It forms another singularity, and then goes boom, and explodes outwards, reaches a point, and it slows down, and then it falls back inwards, and just boom. It does this cycle over and over and over and over again. So that was one of the hypotheses for how the universe would end and how the universe began. But what we discovered is the universe went boom, slowed down a little bit, and then started accelerating because of the dark energy. So it won't collapse. It'll just end up spreading further and further and further away from each other. But there was an idea that we are inside the event horizon of a super mega massive giant universe-sized black hole. And that because the event horizon is so far away, we don't know that we're inside of it. And light seems to work just fine on the slow levels. But when you get out far enough, you're either looking into the black hole or you're looking into the event horizon, you can't see anything. So we'll never know. That's the problem, is that everything's so far away we can never like reach out and touch it and measure it and poke it with a stick. So all we have is our math and speculation. Temp must be below 70 today. It's getting cold out there. So 2 weeks ago it was 93 degrees. Now they're predicting snow next week. And depending on the model, it could be a couple inches or it could be like 2 feet. I'm not physically ready for 2 feet of snow yet. My body is still accepting the fact that it's not 93 degrees anymore because our summer was just so long. After we had a really cold spring, then suddenly it was too hot in summer, and now we're getting like 3 weeks of fall before snow falls. It's whiplashing me, man. Okay, just from Dex. Let's say the Powerball winner is an ape. Could they individually cause a gamma squeeze, MOS catalyst, by buying out of the money calls and buying through a lit exchange and then exercising those calls? I believe so. I think they could do it. I mean, let's see here. Let's bring up the calculator. We like calculators here. Okay. Doink. Whoops, wrong one. Doink. Doink. There's the calculator. Okay. So we like our calculators here. Let's clear that. All right. Let's say do $100 million in calls. And that leaves you with, let's say $700 million after taxes. So you maybe get $800 million out of this as a lump sum. I have no idea what the lump sum is going to be, but let's just say it's $800 million. So you do use $100 million on calls, and you do it for calls that are far away and out of the money. But a bunch of them are just slightly out of the money and just kind of increase them a little bit. So that as the gamma goes, you can trigger more, right? Trigger more. Okay. So 100 million of those, and let's say the average call is $300, right? So we can get 333,000 calls, which represents 100 million shares, okay? Because there's 100 shares per option. You're doing 100 million of them. So you now have 100 million shares possible within all those call options. All right. Now, 100 million shares at $25 a share is $25 billion. That's a lot of money. That's a ridiculous amount of money. So you don't necessarily have that money, but it doesn't matter because we'll get around that. You've got $700 million left to play with. Let's say you put $100 million towards buying shares. So $100 million for buying shares, and they start out at $25 or wherever we are right now. That's 4 million shares. That's a good chunk of shares, but it's not enough to like truly sway. You don't have appreciable percentage. You have like 1% of the entire float, 1.25% of the entire float, something like that. But you buy it through a lit market, and you do it in batches that are only those market maker codes, like ordering 777 of them at 2 cents above everyone else's bid price. And then you do another 777 of them 2 cents above that. And you start working your way up. And let's say you're doing 4 million shares divided by 777. We're just going to use that code. So you can do 5,148 blocks buying at $777. And let's say you're raising it 2 to 10 cents every single time you do that, right? So if you're doing 2 cents divided by 0.02, you can raise, oops, I did it wrong. Go back. Where's my history button? U. Whoops. No. U. This one. I want 5,148 blocks. Copy that. I did the wrong math there. Good. Clear. Control V. There we go. All right. We divide that by 50 because that is the 52 cent blocks and $1. And so we can raise the price $102.96 just by raising it 2 cents every single time we put an order of 777 shares. So we can raise the price to $128, which will be the equivalent of the stock being at $500, $512 before the split. So that would ruin everybody. But at the same time, right? The price goes up $2, puts a bunch of calls in the money. You exercise them. You exercise them, not just the ones that are for like this Friday, but you exercise the ones that are 4 months from now. And all of a sudden, not only do you have to find the 4 million shares that you're ordering, they perhaps have to find another 4 to 10 million shares from the options you just did. And that's going to cause the price to rise the next week. So you exercise some more, and you exercise some more. You can do this for perhaps 7 weeks before you run out of money. But then your call options are worth so much for the ones you didn't execute, you can sell half of those suckers for billions and then order some more. You could trigger it right there in probably just a week or two of buying. It would be pretty spectacular and a great way to share the wealth. Because not only you end up with more cash in the end anyway, you will have brought everyone else along with you. And it'd be very, very, very lovely. So everyone go out and spend your $2 on a lotto ticket. And then fantasize about what you're going to do with it. Because it's an entertainment expense. Okay. Oh, fuck, I forgot the name. Alright, Mikey. Got the night one. Left it on. Man, I wish I had a handlebar and I could just be twisting it right now in disappointment. Oh, we got 3 days. I'm starting over. Friday will be 1. We'll go from there. Okay. First name, last name. Houston, what happens to sound as it reaches the upper atmosphere? Light travels through, but sound? No. Sound requires the interaction of atoms to propagate. So the minute you run out of atoms, you run out of sound. It just ends. That's it. Just like light requires transparency for the photons to travel through. You put up a big block, the light hits it, can't travel any further. So you need a way for those waves to continue. And if you don't have any more atmosphere, you have no more medium for it to travel through, it just doesn't travel anywhere. It's done. Fusionite. Hi, Houston. Hi, Fusionite. Hunson Bell. Coordinates. Probably the coolest building with the craziest period mix throughout its construction phase back in the 1700s. Okay, we are in Europe. We're in Europe. Where's my Google Earth? I turned off my Google Earth. There's my Google Earth. It told me it needed to reload its database. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Come on, Europe. Or Germany, Poland? I can't quite tell. All right. So this place, I master. We're in Dresden porcelain collection. Zwinger. All right, let's look at this sucker. Give me the full article. Okay, we lean the Zwinger, right? Zwinger around Korbund. Represents open kill zone area between two defensive walls. Is used for defensive purposes. Zwingers were built. Oh, this is just a Zwinger in general. That's not. It's just a regular Zwinger. Dresden Armory? What we got here? Dresden Castle. All right, this looks like a museum. I want, tell me, what are you? Mathematich, some other physics salon. All right, that's a pretty cool looking building, I'll be honest. It's pretty neat gardens too. I dig it. Has a lot of fancified stuff. Oops, wait. Full article. The Zwinger, which houses the museum. Okay, let's just go through the pictures here. Pretty good looking. There's a fancified old globe. There's a... I don't know what that is. More globes. Some mirrors. Some telescopes. Huh. Alright. I'm going to throw myself down here. Schwink. A doink. Okay. Well, they were doing some remodeling there. This is a completely different era entirely. That looks more 19th century. That one also looks Baroque-ish. Huh. Well, if I ever make it to Dresden, I'll check this place out. It's pretty neat. I dig it, Hansen. I dig it. Okay. No whammies. There we go. Hey, Josh Pet Pals Tennessee. Hey, man. Don't have anything? Maybe answer a random question in the comments. Not super chat. Well, thank you. Thank you, Josh. Money over Mayo. What happens if sound travels at light speed? I don't know if it could. Because all atoms aren't actually touching each other, right? There is a space between them that is defined by the electron degeneracy. So the electrons, they are both negatively charged, therefore they make it so the atoms actually can't touch each other. Like if I'm rubbing my hands together, what I'm really doing is the electrons in one hand, their electric field is rubbing against the electric field of the electrons in my other hand, and what I'm feeling is the delta, the change in those fields between the two electrons and all of the atoms in my fingers. And that is sending impulses into my nervous system, which is going to my brain. Blah. So in order to get sound to travel at the speed of light, you would have to have every piece of nucleus, of all the protons and everything, would have to be touching each other. Specifically, monkey butt. Dude, you're making the loudest slurping sounds? Just chill, dude. That is just disgusting. Lay off. The speed of sound is hitting my ears of monkey just going downtown on her hoo-ha. So you would have to basically have the singularity of a black hole and a sound hit it from one side, and maybe you would have a vibration pop out the other at an incredible rate of speed, but I don't think it will quite be the speed of light. The denser material is, the faster the sound is. So, we've got sound travels at Mach 1 here at atmosphere at sea level. In water, it travels like twice as fast. You can hear the train coming in train tracks in those old cowboy movies, right? So it travels faster through a solid material. So the more dense material is, the faster it will travel. But I don't think it could ever quite travel the speed of light. It can travel really fast. I don't think it quite travel the speed of light. Ooh. And there's the turn off the intros. Stupid Houston. Okay. Sad Boy Incorporated. Houston, it feels like we're going to have to wait another 90 days for the next GME run up again. This time, the yearly leaps will be included January 2023 unless they cancel the squeeze again. Sigh. I think the market's going to do squirrelier things before then, which is going to affect the balance sheets of everybody. Because not everybody is hedged for this market collapse. And any hedging they do for this market collapse, there's not enough of it out there to weigh against their longer plays, especially with the bond market collapsing as hard as it is, because bonds are the basis for collateral. And you can have blue chips in there and stuff, but anything that's not bonds is considered toxic assets, and they don't like doing margin with those as much as they like doing with bonds. But the bonds are having their worst year since 1788, basically since bonds were a thing. And Japan's collapsing their bonds, Russia's collapsing with their bonds, the United States is collapsing with their bonds, Argentina's collapsing with their bonds, Sweden's collapsing with their bonds, Germany's bonds are collapsing, the UK's bonds or gilts, whatever they want to call them over there, they're just falling through the floor. Bonds do this over time. They don't do this, which is what they're doing. They're just so if everyone's bonds go under, then no one has collateral to match their ridiculous margin that they've been playing with for the last couple of years, and they all go down. Simple as that. They're all going to go down real hard. Robert Krebs, please talk about MAP. I don't care about it. If as an elder sibling, I really appreciate elder brother smackdowns while you're hitting yourself. I am larger than Gardner, so he's not going to be able to make me hit myself. I'm like, everyone in my family comes up to here on me, the tallest ones. I am much larger than anybody else in my family. But I won't. I won't talk about Emmet. I would love to, but I won't. You're safe, Gardner. Space Monkey, what's up, my favorite far lefty? Happy birthday, and thanks for the makeup show. I think we need a visual for the days without accident for the show. Yeah, well, you're going to get the mustache all month. The beard will grow around it, and then I'll do something weird in the end. But I think it's, it's kind of a cop stash. I don't know. Does it make me more debonair? Does it make me creepier? I don't know. But the last time I had a stash like this, I did a stash all Movember. It's 2018? 2019? Whatever it was. I had friends. There was a giant fire going on in Sonoma. And so they dumped their kids off with their parents, decided we're going to flee to Portland for a weekend while the fires are going on in Sonoma. And said, hey, Houston, come down to Portland. So I went down to Portland. and we went. They own a winery. They own a Michelin-rated restaurant. So they're like, we know all these chefs. We're going to have really great food. So come with us. And I went and we did all the great food. And then we're like, okay, we need to go to a cash machine and we all need to get hundreds of dollars because we're going to go to Stripperoki. And I was like, oh, what now? And apparently there's a place called Devil's Point in Portland. There's a very small strip club that does stripper karaoke. And it was one of the most incredible experiences of my entire life. The athleticism of these ladies, I forgot they were naked. Like, they were so strong and so athletic that I was just amazed at the physicality of what they could accomplish, that them being naked completely just deleted from my brain, because I was like, how can the human body be that strong and that flexible and do what they do? They're swinging like monkey bars, and it was like watching the Olympics. It was absolutely amazing. And then you get to go up on stage and sing your song, and they do their routine to your song, which I have to say was the most special karaoke experience. And I love myself some karaoke. I love it. And got to go up there, got to sing. And I will be honest, I had the stash. So I look kind of creepy to begin with. I did, oh crap, what song did I do? Not Simply Red. I did an 80s song. I don't remember which one exactly, but it was an 80s song and I nailed it. And the stripper gave me a hug at the end, which I think kind of signified a victory. Because I don't know how often strippers were like, oh my God, that was amazing. I'm going to give you a hug before you go back in the audience. And it felt really good. I would love to go do that again. I've never been to a strip club in my life. The closest I'd been was the Lusty Lady, which was a peep show in Seattle, had an amazing reader board. They were across the street from the art museum, and they would always have these great puns on the reader board every week. And you could fill out a form for a pun, and if your pun got selected, they gave you a t-shirt. And I filled out, I don't know, a couple times a year, I would have an idea, and I never won. I'd make a pun, hoping to get that t-shirt. And that was the closest I'd ever been, was like the front door to hand in a pun idea. But I'm sold. I think all stripper things should be stripperoki. It is just incredible. Doesn't matter, the nudity, whatever. Like, strippers, athleticism plus singing, it just works. Why are we talking about this? Where was I going? I don't know where I was going there. All right. First name, last name, Houston. Have you tried metal detecting for your lost gold clump outside your house? Even a small pinpointer can help. My metal detector I sold a little while ago, and I was planning on buying a new one, and I just haven't done it yet, so I haven't. If I still had it, I would have found that sucker by now. But I kind of moved away from most gold mining and was focusing on gemstones because gold miners are just so awful to deal with. Monkey butt, get up here. Come on. Get up here. Come on. There you go. I like having you within head patting reach. And then you try to get as far away as possible. Yeah, I probably should. Problem is, that any metal detector I get will cost more than what the gold is worth that's in those bushes. I might get a new one. We'll see. If Monkey and I are able to take like a sabbatical and go travel, it'd be nice to go metal detect. Josh Propels, how much to get you to do an encore asking for a friend? I forgot. Somebody wanted me to do a birthday wish yesterday, but I didn't have the show on. And, who was it? Oh, goodness. It would have been sometime yesterday. They asked me to do... nope. Okay, that's 2 days ago. Not 2 days ago. It was definitely a day ago. No. Who was it that wanted me to do the birthday wishes? No. 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 Who was it, man? I'm sorry, somebody messaged me to do a birthday thing and I cannot find who it was. It was for a little guy. It was like a little kindergartner. And now I can't figure out who it was. Great. Way to go, Houston. Losing the kindergartner happy birthday with someone's kindergartner happy birthday. No. No. I get like 200 DMs from you folks every single day, and I lose track of who sends me what. And I get to just watch a dude on YouTube just go through messages one at a time. Just one at a time. Just click it on messages. It's not that one. Nope, not that one. Dadgummit, man. Who was it? Oh, goodness. Well, happy birthday, little kindergartner guy whose name I can't remember because I cannot at all find which tweet it was, which DM it was. Happy birthday, little guy. There you go. At least you got several minutes of the show devoted to me trying to figure out what your name is. Okay, where are we? What's happening? Casey Chapman. If Acme created a bunch of millionaires, could they not spark MOS themselves? We're gonna go with the hypothetical Acme company again. All right. So there's a holding company. That holding company owns a bunch of assets. Those assets are essentially for sale. And the idea is that all the cash paid from that sale gets directly distributed to whoever holds the shares in that holding company. So let's say that that holding company, 1/3 of it is owned by another company, right? And the assets sell for billions, just billions upon billions of dollars, anywhere from $5 to $10 billion. And if you own 1/3 of it, you might be getting, hush, 2 to 4 billion of it, somewhere around there. So you get $2 to $4 billion for the sale of this stuff. Monkey butt. Chill. It's just a new person moving into the house. It's fine. $2 to $4 billion, give or take, windfall for the company that owns 1/3 of that holding company. Okay, that means two things happen. One, during the quarterly reports after the sale of those holding company shares, they get to announce that they made $2 to $4 billion that quarter. Oh, woohoo! Oh, actually, there's three things. Two, they can then have the option of saying, hey, we're going to offer a special dividend to everyone who holds our stock that might be something ridiculous, like $25 or $30, right? Monkey. Chill. $25 to $30 or so. And if their stock price is hovering around $1, it's going to fly through the roof because everyone's going to want $25 or $30. They're going to want, 20, 30x on their investment. Cool. 3, the other folks who owned the 2/3 of that holding company, and let's say they get a huge windfall to the fact that they're either getting a giant payout from the dividend of the sale of those assets, or they are getting a huge windfall from a potential short squeeze before the company went private to sell those assets, and they then reinvest into the company that had 1/3 of that. It's kind of a little rubber cycle here, snake eating its own tail. So they get a bunch of FOMO getting in there before the announcement of the dividend, which causes another FOMO to happen, which it could very, 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 very much cause one hell of a crazy volatile market for Acme and their parent company. So think about it. Okay. Casey Chapman. The question is so nice that he asked it twice. There you go. I can give that answer again if you want. Maria Garcia, Houston, is Acme regular going to squeeze like Acme preferred? That's kind of the question. Is that I think the preferred share goes first, and then the regular share follows when they get to announce just how much money they made off the sale of the preferred. So I think that's kind of the play it makes. Might be some weeks between the two, depending on when things get finalized. But I think it's very possible. If I made a bunch of money off Acme, I wouldn't be surprised if I then invested into the regular company and watch that sucker 10x as well or higher. And, you know, it's a great way to multiply what you got. So I think I might be doing that. Okay. Man, you guys already have me like an hour and 10 minutes behind. This is incredible. I haven't even gotten to the start of the show yet. First name, last name. Houston, forgot to tell you that you were quoted in an article about the stock we can't mention. Someone sent me something. It was an article. It was originally posted on StockTwits, got turned into an article on some other financial website. Now, yeah, it's quoted in there, but it was a couple weeks ago, unless there's a new one. I don't know. First name, last name, I don't know how to link it without being removed. DM it to me. That's probably the best way. Monkey butt. They're just moving in. It's fine. Do you need to go investigate? Do you? All right. Come on. Go investigate. Come back when you're ready. Sorry. I got a new roommate moving in downstairs. And did you investigate and you found it? Okay. Let's close the door then. Get up there. Okay. There's probably lots of doors opening and closing. She's not much of a barker, so it's kind of surprising that she's doing the whole barking thing. Cruel Kind. Houston, can you imagine a scenario where a meteorite impacts Yellowstone? What does it look like? Are there sharks involved too? That would be pretty wild. Dude, chill out. They're moving. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine, monkey. A meteorite's going to impact Yellowstone. Okay, so Yellowstone has a magma chamber that is just absolutely insanely large. We're talking like thousands, if not tens of thousands of cubic kilometers worth of molten goo. The magma is just so much. You have a meteor impact. It nails just dead on. Ground zero is the caldera of the Yellowstone volcano. All right, so the energy release of a meteorite. Let's say the meteorite is a decent size, a mile across or whatever, a couple kilometers, somewhere around there. That's a planet killer. It's enough to basically cook the entire atmosphere and send a blast wave around, just kill everything. Then the ash cloud blocks out the sun. Okay, so this thing hits the molten goo. It penetrates thunk through a significant part of the lithosphere, opens up the magma chamber. So not only does the explosive release, the kinetic energy of the impact go shawonk and make for a crater that's 100 miles across, but now we're releasing 10,000 cubic kilometers of molten goo into the atmosphere at the same time. So it's like a blasting cap on a thing of C4. The explosion would deafen probably the entire planet while cooking them alive. The sun would be blacked out for a decade. The atmosphere would catch on fire. And if you weren't underground with your own like cooling system and apparatus to breathe, you would be cooked alive. And that'd be that. It would be one hell of a computer model to simulate. That would be a great, like, silly what's word, like PhD thesis? Like, I'm going to model what would happen if a 2-mile wide asteroid smacked into the caldera at Yellowstone. That'd be awesome. That is worthy of a sci-fi movie a la Sharknado. Maria Garcia, do you think Acme regular could hit 1,000 per share? I have 3,271 of those. I don't know. I don't know if it can reach that high. Simply because there isn't quite the media attention on it yet, right? And I don't know if the price would get to a point that would trigger a parabolic rise due to shorts being forced to close, and that it would get that high. And no one's really thought about that particular stock doing that. I do think it could have a significant rise to maybe triple digits. I mean, we'll have to see more what the vibe is like as we get there. But it could be that everyone takes all their winnings from Acme, dumps it in there, and goes, I'm not letting this go. And then things go bonkers into FOMOs and whatever. You can't rule out anything. But I mean, shoot for it. Why not? I don't know how likely it is, but you know, it doesn't quite have the public backing as like a GME does at this point. Where am I? A1 Car Stereo made it. Hey, man. Mr. Lasuna, in the UK, some commentators are saying a rise in interest rates won't actually help tackle inflation, but I don't really understand why. Can you break it down for me? Thanks. So, inflation is coming from a couple areas. One, it's coming from there being too much cash in the system as a result of bailouts during COVID. That they got to put their cash somewhere, and people are just spending too much money on things, and it raised prices because that's increased the demand. Two, we had an incredible failing of the supply chain. You know, we had entire car factories that had to shut down because they couldn't get wiper blade motors from China. And if you can't have a wiper blade move, you can't sell the car because it's illegal to have a car without wiper blades, right? So if you can't do that, if you're being held up by one little tiny part that's a failure in the supply chain, and everything else collapses, and the price of cars go up because people don't have access to getting a new car, and the demand's higher than the supply, and you know, people are now taking out insane loans, and their cars are now coming underwater, and just all sorts of problems are happening. And three, corporate greed. Corporations are a bunch of greedy assholes, and they will capitalize and price gouge at any opportunity. So we've got companies like Exxon, Shell, Phillips, you know, BP, etc., that are making record profits. Exxon made like $18 billion profit in a quarter, right? During the beginning of the COVID shutdowns, you could have bought the entire company for like $10 billion. Exxon was worth nothing. It would have been so smart for the U.S. government, rather than sending bailouts, to just spend $10 billion and buy the whole of Exxon and have a national oil company. But instead they're like, oh, we're going to send you like $30 billion to bailout. And what do we get for it? We're going to just jack the prices unnecessarily on all this oil and cause more inflation to happen. So there's basically three areas all this inflation is happening. Now, the goal of raising interest rates is specifically to slow down the flow of capital. If people can't get credit cards, they can't buy cars, they can't buy houses, they can't do short-term loans for their companies, they can't do payroll loans, they can't do all sorts of stuff. So they're not going to be able to build new developments. They're not going to be able to expand their factories. So the slowing of cash capital is going to like halt the demand for things. The problem is that we have not yet reached a point where interest rates are going to truly slow down this. We have to raise interest rates above what the inflation is. And if inflation is at 8%, we got to get those interest rates well above 8% to make it not worth anyone's while to borrow. Because right now, you borrow, interest rate is 4%, 5%, and inflation causes stuff to go up so high that essentially it's free money. Anytime interest rates below inflation, it's free money, as far as people are concerned. So to slow down that borrowing, you have to make it really punitive for them to borrow. That'd be super desperate. And to do that, you have to make the interest rates just astronomically high. We probably need interest rates at 10, 12% right now to truly slow down the flow of capital and to bring inflation like meow. But I don't know if anyone has the balls to actually do that. They probably should be doing full point raises rather than like 75 basis points. Just hammer it home that like we're not going to slow this down. And on top of that, we should probably do windfall taxes on the oil companies everywhere in the world. Be like, oh, you made $18 billion this quarter? Cool, $17 billion of that is ours. Oh, you want to lower your prices? Okay, well, let's keep more of your money. and just kind of force them that way. The one thing we really don't have an ability to directly affect governmentally or through central banks is the supply chain itself. We're taking steps towards that, but it's going to be a time-consuming process. Like microprocessors and semiconductors. We're investing, hundreds of billions of dollars here in the U.S. to build factories here to produce those microprocessors, so that we don't have to worry about shutdowns in China or collapses of the supply chain. We have them right here, and that's a couple of reasons. One, national security. If we don't have control of those chips and someone else can control that, then we can't make our electronics and our airplanes and our tanks and everything else, and that affects our national security. So we need to have a domestic supply. It's probably going to have to be subsidized by the government in order to make those domestic chips happen. And two, it takes time. It just takes a long time to get that infrastructure up and running. And until that happens, we're kind of at their mercy. Think about natural gas prices in Europe. Natural gas prices were going nuts. They're like, oh shit, if it's cold winter, everyone's going to die. Natural gas prices are going up like 60x over what they were. And so everyone in the world is like, get gas to Europe, make some money. So all these liquefied natural gas tankers filled up and on to Europe. Only to discover that all the ports are full and they're stuck there and they got to wait for a spot in the port. And now natural gas prices are collapsing because there's like too many ships. There's a lag time before there's an adequate response from the market. And as a result, too many people responded because, who doesn't want to make a whole bunch of money selling natural gas? And now they're like, oh shit, natural gas prices might go negative. We might have to pay people to unload this natural gas in order for us to like get out of here and get some more. Oops. It happened to oil in 2020 is that people weren't driving, they weren't flying, the oil wasn't getting used. There was a glut of oil being produced, and oil prices went negative for a period. They would literally pay you to take oil because they had nowhere to store it. And so you could make money. If you could find a place to store oil, you could make money just taking the oil from people and holding on to it for a time. Weird market mechanics. P long stock. Thoughts on ITR center infusion? Will they make it work? I don't know who that is. ITR center fusion. World's largest fusion experiment. Is this the one in Europe? Oh, in France. Yeah. Turn you off. Turn you on. There we go. Unique reaction that powers the sun. Blah, blah, yakety schmackety. Okay. Will they get to work? I think it's very likely. we got to work at Lawrence Livermore. It was a smaller experiment. This is a bigger one. But we know the mechanics. Excuse me, the mechanics behind it. Their containment machine. So basically, make this big toroid magnet, and it contains the electromagnetic explosion essentially that comes out of the fusion reaction. And when you can contain that, you can channel it, and you can use that energy to power stuff. And this is a very large scale, and I think it's really important. And we know the math behind it now. We know how it works. We've had enough experimentations on the smaller scale that I think they'll be able to make it work. And then once they figure out the scale of it and they figure out how to contain it, now they got to move on to the next step, which is how to draw the energy out of it and use it. And then they can figure out the different scales they can do, whether it's going to be an airplane or a power plant that powers a city or a large population center, whatever, individual homes. I don't know. But I think it will work. We know the basics of it now. We know how to contain it. We know how to make it fuse. It's the whole getting the energy out of it thing that we're waiting on. So yeah, I think it'll work. I'm gonna move that page out of the way because otherwise I'm just gonna see like sparky red things in the corner of my eye all the time. Okay. Monkey, you're just a barky little dork today. I already lost where I was. A1 Car Stereo. I think the idea is simple. Can't bring second or third world economies up to first economies, so just drag first world economies down to meet the rest. Only thing that clicks in my mind. I'm a smooth brain. While maintaining the really rich people at the top. You gotta have that film of really rich people that own everything. And then everyone else can just live in squalor and wash their clothes and open sewers and stuff. B-Ball 3710. We keep hearing about taxing billionaires. Do the Rothschilds pay taxes anywhere? I don't know. I think they live all over. A lot of them probably live in like Monaco and don't pay taxes to anyone. Because Monaco makes all their money off of gambling, right? And the sovereign wealth fund. I mean, or they could go live in Puerto Rico. There's no federal taxes in Puerto Rico if you establish residency. Who else doesn't have taxes? The UAE doesn't have taxes. I have no idea the tax structure, but I doubt there's taxes in like the Caymans and stuff. They're probably a tax haven. Billionaires put their money all over the place to avoid taxes. They offshore it everywhere. And while that offshoring system works wonders for them, it hurts us. There's something like $400 trillion that have been offshored, which is 5 times the entire global GDP has been offshored into tax havens around the world. The UN was trying to do a negotiation where they were going to standardize taxes across the entire globe. So they'd be like, you have to tax corporate taxes at 18%. You cannot make it any lower wherever you are. So I mean, like, companies moving to Dubai to avoid paying corporate taxes would not be able to move to Dubai to avoid paying corporate taxes. They still have to pay 18% on their earnings. And then I don't think it really went anywhere, but they're also trying to do the same thing on capital gains and income taxes, so that if people or companies were like, okay, I'm going to make my headquarters in Ireland where there's no corporate tax rate for my cash, you would end up having to pay it anyway. Plus, if you were a rich person in the Caymans stashing your cash over there and you had your broker account, you still have to pay taxes in the Caymans at 18% or whatever the capital gains was established as. Yeah. Daphne, let's see if this shows up in chat. I can see that, Daphne. I can see it's the blue ones, so the blue ones don't pop up at the top of my chat on my where I am in the list one, but on my real-time chat on the right side, I can see you down at the bottom there. Daniel Batchelor, Houston, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Van Halen or Van Hagar? Always thought Hagar was better. I have more nostalgia for Van Halen, largely because David Lee Roth is a complete freak and hilarious and an amazing like parody of a human being. And I've seen him live, and he still puts on a hell of a show. Can still do the splits, even though he like got his hip replaced. I was impressed. Sammy Hagar. I don't know, something about Sammy Hagar just doesn't quite excite me. Like, I don't know. There's something about him that is like Jimmy Buffett cul-de-sac dad. Does that make sense? I don't know. It's just like it's like an aura he gives off. I'm like, man, he's really a Jimmy Buffett fan, and he really likes living in a cul-de-sac. And that's just kind of, I don't know. He's a rock and roller, but he doesn't feel rock and roll. If you know what I mean? I like both, but I am partial to just David Lee Roth's absolute over-the-top weirdness. The guy's a freak of nature. And the greatest parody of him of all time is Dr. Roxo on Metalocalypse. Just chef's kiss. Just amazing. B-Ball 3710 is the simplest overall market bear thesis that the Fed has to unload $1 trillion assets off their balance sheet. Does this pretty much trump everything else? They don't have to dump $1 trillion. They have to dump $8 trillion off their balance sheets from what they picked up since March of 2020. $8 trillion in securities. And they've been gathering more. Their plunge protection team has been gathering more. The asset, what the name of it, the real name of it is, we call it the plunge protection team. It's the asset acquisition, blah, blah, blah. That's the nitty gritty of it. That's they got to get rid of it at some point. And they keep saying, oh, we're going to sell, $90 billion a month. They haven't done shit. Because they keep going, oh crap, the market's about to crash. We got to gobble up some more to keep it from crashing. Okay, our belly's full. We can start. Got to stick our finger down our throat and purge this a little bit, and then, yeah, it's just silly. It's just a silly willy that we're stuck in, and they're going to produce more securities than there is demand for. It'll bring the price down, especially $8 trillion worth. Even if they try to do it slowly, it will just bring it all down. And if they wait too long, they won't get enough of their money back, right? If the bottom falls out of the market because the next housing numbers come out and shows that there's a glut of houses in the market, people are dropping their prices by 20% or whatever, then the whole market's gonna go shunk, and the Federal Reserve's gonna we probably should have been selling that entire time then, because the market just collapsed, and now our $8 trillion in assets are worth $4 trillion, and we still have to sell it all at a giant loss. And it's going to bring the market down even further. So the longer they wait, the more trouble I think they're going to get in. All right. Don Caesar Shadem. Let's see if this shows up after Dashley posts. And Two-Wheel Freedom, what are we testing? I don't know, but I like you guys testing it. You can keep testing away there. By all means, have at it. Choose Miami. Testing 3, 2, 1. Hey, if all 390 of you in here want to start testing things... okay. Oh, really stupid. Hey, Houston, you keep talking about... I missed some super chats. I'm so sorry. Houston, you keep talking about acne. Maybe skincare regimen recommendation. On a funny note, I literally shaved my face clean for the first time in a year. And oh my goodness, do I have ingrown hairs? Holy smokes. They are just awful. All right, did I miss? Got that one. I just got to go through and make sure I hit everybody because I noticed I missed one of those. Okay, the speed of light one. Did Four of the Stupids. I did just in my head. Okay, I did all those. All right, okay. And then Maria Garcia, can you let us know when Acme gets approval to go private? Also, how much notice does the company have to give to go private? I think it's 15 days from when they get approved. So there'll be an announcement like, hey, S1 is approved. You'll see it pop up on Twitter and news wires. And I think from that point, it's 15 days from that day. So that's what we're waiting on. Waiting on that woohoo, we can go private, and then a company like Acme will have 15 days for everyone to close out their positions, and then they go private, and the stock becomes untradeable. And you just sit and wait. You sit and wait for whatever dividend, or you sold prior to it going private. And that's what you're waiting on. Okay. That was the Van Halen one. That was B-ball one. Online entity, my calendar says it's Thursday. What the fuck is happening? I ended up going to my friend's house for dinner last night with Monkey Butt and having a lovely evening, and didn't do a show. So, sometimes I just gotta have a social life, and I hadn't seen my friends in a while, so we went and had a lovely evening, ate some delicious food, shared some great stories, talked about space companies, and yeah, some very interesting changes happening in the space industry, that's for sure. Bill Cohen, inflation. You own a lawn cutting business, increase prices from $20 to $40. Are you now going to drop your prices back to $20? Give up the new profits? Interest rates has no effect. Stopping inflation is different than deflation. Deflation is reducing the prices. That means that the value of the dollar is stronger now because you're getting more purchasing power for it than you did before. Stopping inflation is keeping that person from raising their prices from $40 to $50, right? So if they just keep it at $40, then boom, you stopped inflation, you're good to go. They can raise it to $41 a year from now, and everyone's like, okay, that's fine. But deflation can happen. There's going to be deflation in the car market, huge deflation in the car market. There's going to be deflation in the housing market, right? There's going to be deflation in the oil market at some point. Somebody is going to be like, screw this. I'm going to produce as much oil as I can, gobble up as much money as I can. And then in competition, because of the glut of available things, the price is going to drop. Used car prices are dropping. New car prices are dropping. Housing prices are dropping. So there is deflation in there. But there is not deflation in wages. You won't see wages drop because people usually sign contracts and like, hey, I work here for $18 an hour. You offer me less, I'm getting out of here. And then you lose your workers. But that just means you have to streamline your process, cut down on, waste, make things more efficient, whatever. So that's, you can reduce inflation. It just takes time. It took 25 years for inflation, 30 years for inflation to come down from the 1970s. And it wasn't until the economic crisis in 2008 that inflation finally dropped to the 2% level that the Fed has been shooting for since the 1970s. Our problem now is that inflation is so high while the economy is crashing that we can't help the economy by cutting interest rates because that means inflation is going to go higher. And then we have a recession and incredible inflation, which is like Weimar Republic range. Joshua G. I have one share of MMTLP I got from my large torch position, diamond hands. That's all I got left? James Fisher. Hey, Houston. Big question. Why do we not come together as all apes and get together, hire some attorneys, and go after these people? Adam Aaron isn't helping us. If we don't unite, it's going to fall apart. I'm sure there's cases for class actions. There's a class action against Robinhood for turning off the buy button, which looks like it's going to be successful. There are currently a whole bunch of lawsuits from various shorted companies suing the short sellers for manipulation. William Morgan sent me a whole list of them. I think GTII is suing, was like SVNA. There's a third one in there. they're all suing short sellers. They're like, you know what, screw you guys. You're manipulating our stock price. Screw you. We're suing you for damages. We'll see how far those go. There's probably be a settlement. The courts don't seem to like short sellers. When the short sellers sued Overstock won. Overstock was like, you're manipulating our price. Screw you. We can do whatever we want to keep our stock price up. And the court was like, they can. You can't manipulate them. And they beat the short sellers. Yeah. Daniel Moats, Houston, for the stock price can't be named. Price target of selling? Thousands. Duh. I mean, it's got to be worth everyone's while. And until it's worth everyone's while, I have no problem. I have no intention of selling. AMC is barcoding hard after hours. Monkey butt. I gave you a bath yesterday. Why are you constantly trying to clean yourself? Huh? Is it because you're too delicious? You're too clean, delicious? All right. Oh, there goes. All right, well, chat just reset again. All right, let's scroll back up. And did I lose anything? Nope, I lost about 10 minutes in there. I'm an hour and... Which makes me an hour and 5 minutes behind. Okay. William Morgan. Investors have wiped out about $7 billion off Saudi National Bank's market value amid growing concern over the lender's plans to purchase a stake in Credit Suisse Group. Yeah, they want to purchase a huge portion of Credit Suisse. And I think it would depend upon, are they buying just the banking side or the investment banking side? And I would not want to touch the investment banking side anyway at all, ever. And if regulators allow Credit Suisse to split apart that way, how are they going to guarantee that this thing doesn't become a toxic explosion that brings down the entire global economy? Well, these guys pretend like they had nothing to do with it. It's a very good question. And, you know, the Saudis, I think right now what a large portion of what the Saudis are doing is they're making plays to be a bigger influencer in global politics than the traditionally they'd played in the past, which is much more like, hey, we sell the oil, we collect money, we go party. It is now much more of, we sell the oil, we also purchase large portions of social media companies and get access to user data, and we can now manipulate and bonesaw journalists. And they're throwing their weight around in a different way than they were before. Meow meow. Does algorithmic trading add to a squeeze? I'm assuming the algorithms of other institutions pile into a rocketing stock. I'm sure they've got algorithms designed specifically for that, right? Good stretch, monkey. The problem is that when stocks rocket is such a rare event that my guess is all the algorithms are for stocks that have a good jump and then plateau or drop, and not for stocks that go parabolic. And that when a stock is in that parabolic phase, they may have to turn off the algorithm and have a person there to like physically watch things happen. Simply because when you let the algorithm enter into a situation, you can get flash crashes and all sorts of weird stuff that, you know, oh my gosh, so many trades happen in the last 5 seconds. We got to unplug the machine before the entire globe collapses. I think it's really hard to write for something going parabolic, to figure out an algorithm that's, because you just don't have enough test cases to work off of. Because I missed those 10 minutes, there's like comments. I have no idea what they go for. No men like mustaches. No guys like mustaches. Hey. Daphne, you're stuck with it for a month. Blackstone's $70 billion real estate fund for retail investors is losing steam. A retail boom that supercharged private equity and real estate is slowing. Didn't Blackstone spend more than 70? I thought Blackstone had like $500 billion. They had 1 million homes or something at an average price of like $500,000. I mean, they've got $7 trillion in stuff they manage. Maybe it's more than that. I mean, it's like $20 trillion. That's a ridiculous amount, however much money they'd manage. But it's a really, I mean, we knew it was a bad investment a year ago. We had all these like theories. Oh, maybe they're going to like make everybody become a renter economy, and you know they're going to manipulate. They may have also manipulation ideas that they had sitting around their conference table, like, we're going to be evil, and we're going to tie the lady to the train tracks, and victory. But then the housing market's collapsing, and now they're holding a giant bag of houses that they can't sell that are worth less than they paid for them. They need copious amounts of management. If you're hoping to make money off of renting those properties, you're going to be spending a fortune just on property managers. And how many property managers can actually do their job? Like, what is the certification for your property management company? Right? You cut them a huge check. Hey, manage these 5,000 properties. They go, sure thing, man. And they don't do anything. They rent out to a bunch of crappy renters. The renters destroy your homes. The meth heads move in, peel out all the copper wiring, and sell the faucets on eBay or whatever. And, you know, you just lost a bunch of money. Every time you buy a home and the home's not yours, people are going to treat it like it's not theirs. And it's expensive. It's very expensive. I unless Blackstone was trying to flip these houses during the bull housing market, they're done. They're toast. Michael Harrow, Houston, did you see Ape barcode at 1 penny for 4 hours this afternoon? No. Let's look at Ape doing its thing. There's Ape. No, it did. Bounced quite a bit between 163 and 162. Quite a long time. Has jumped and is barcoding again. Interesting. Huh. Every time you see barcoding, it's just manipulation. It's just somebody like buying for penny higher, selling for penny lower, whatever. Buying for penny lower, selling for penny higher, just off and on. They're probably selling it to themselves and just keeping the stock in that window. Jose Rosario, how is it even fair to set debt adrift? I can't spin off my debt, shake my head. It's not. It's not fair at all. It's a giant loophole. And what are you going to do other than complain? They love like setting debt off in those areas. When there's less restructuring, they'll you got a company took out billions in loans, and they built a factory here and a retail space there, or whatever, and they're like, oh crap, like our retail portion is doing really poorly, but our factory is selling washing machines. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all this debt, we're going to shove it over onto the retail side, and we're going to set that off as its own IPO, and then we're going to hold on tightly to our factory, and oops, there you go. I mean, GM did it with AC Delco. They took all this debt, shoved it onto AC Delco, and spun AC Delco off. So AC Delco became this own company. And what did they do with Delphi as well? I think those are their main suppliers, Delphi and AC Delco. And they, they avoided the debt on the main portion of the company. But then the problem was like, oh crap, the supplier for all of our parts is going bankrupt and can't make parts. Now we can't make cars. Oops. And then you have to have the government come and bail you out and buy your entire company as a national security thing and then hold on to it for years and sell it again. Otherwise, 5 million manufacturing jobs go vanishing and never come back. And then you lose out on, very important companies. It's silly. We have just a dumb system. Everything about this system is so stupid. What system we got? It works for those few who make the decisions. Everyone else just like suckerfish along for the ride. Okay. Crypto Chris, so Brad Pitt can't afford $8. The question isn't whether Brad Pitt can afford $8 or not. It's whether he bothers. If he doesn't have a social media presence, right? He doesn't bother being on social media. He might have an account specifically as a holder with a little check mark so that people know that if they do get contacted by a Brad Pitt, that it's the real Brad Pitt and not some poser pretending to be Brad Pitt. And if you allow a breakdown in the verified system for public figures and celebrities, then you've got a safety problem on your hands. Because then anyone pretending to be Brad Pitt can be like, hey, I'm the real Brad Pitt. Look at me. Let's go take a date out in the woods somewhere. And someone stupid and go, oh my gosh, the Brad Pitt wants me. Oh my God. And then they're going to go out to get axe murdered by a creepy person. The checkmark thing is entirely to make sure that you are interacting with the actual person who's the public figure and not faker. And it is to save the platform, the social media platform, the headache of getting sued by parents whose kids go missing because they think they're talking to the real Barney the dinosaur and they're not. So you don't want to charge people who are creating your content and drawing eyes to your platform and take away the verification status when it's a public safety thing. You don't want that liability. And Elon is just... he has absolutely no idea what the hell he's getting into. He really has no clue. And my God, it's amazing watching somebody set $44 billion on fire this fast. But my eyeballs cannot get big enough to absorb how many stupid things he's doing. It's just, wowee. Man, all right. Cassava Sciences files lawsuit against perpetrators, short distort, SAVA. That's who it is, SAVA. Thank you, William. SS Minnow Johnson, are there not already imposters despite blue checks? That's an extreme example. There are imposters, but they don't have the blue check. Therefore, you aren't dealing with the real person. That's the point there, SS Minnow Johnson. William Morgan, October 28th. Finger Motion, FNGR, retains law firm to investigate recent market activity by short sellers. There's another one. And I think GTII is suing as well. Greedy investor usage, Apple puts print. Oh, hell no. I'm holding that bag so hard. They did not print at all. Apple did $60 billion in stock buybacks to make it appear as though their earnings per share went up. And like, cool. And then the stock price went up $5. And meanwhile, everyone else, every other electric company and competitor of theirs dropped hard. Kevin Turner bought some Sears bonds. They seem to be wrapping up bankruptcy. Do you think the bonds will have any value again? Can you still buy them pennies on the dollar? No, the bonds will not have any value because the entire point of bankruptcy was discharging those bonds. So you're not going to get anything. Basically, you're buying things that the court said they don't have to pay that back. So I wouldn't buy Sears bonds at the moment. Daphne, I say call M. Matt Wiley and MTLP Roadrunner. Great Ape Knolls. Whenever I see Great Ape Knolls pop up, my brain goes grape nuts. HW, can you help me understand how the volume of GME is manipulated? Are there multiple ways to manipulate volume? What's the most pernicious, in your opinion? Happy birthday. I think the biggest way they manipulate is dark pools. Is that they take all that volume and they push it out into an area you can't see what's happening. And then they don't report it. And at best you'll see like, oh, the volume was 1.6 million today. And then you'll see like, oh, 80% went to dark pools. Okay, so you have to understand that 1.6 million is actually 20% of the volume. You have to multiply that sucker by 5 to figure out what the actual volume is, and that was the true volume that day. But that's not what shows up through the lit exchanges. Is you just get, this is how much went through lit exchanges, that's the volume, and then X% went off to the dark pools, and you got to do the math on your own to figure out what that volume is. They should have lit volume, true volume, and go from there. Flight Guy 99, when the market collapses, how's that going to affect money market funds held in 401ks, IRAs? And I see your shirt on today. They're all going to collapse. Mutual funds will be worth less. Index funds will be worth less. Individual stocks, portfolios will be worth less. That's what happens. The value of it all goes wonk. Right now, and I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. But historically, if you sell at the top of the market, hold on to that cash or invest in inverse puts and whatnot. And then when the market goes down to the bottom, you take all that winnings or cash you had sitting and you buy it up again, and then it goes right back up. Because the markets do. Markets go bump, 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 collapse. Bump, 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 collapse. Bump, 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 collapse. So if you play that cycle, you can, 3x your money right there. Louis Vasquez, Houston, what would happen if people start asking for physical certification of their shares? Nothing. Most shares do not have paper certificates for them anymore. They're all electronic. And that's that. You'd be like, hey, can I get a physical copy of my GME shares? And your broker's going to go, there are no physical copies of your GME shares. They do not exist. So, plus, back when you did get shares, physical copies, they would charge you like $25 a share to get the physical copy, which then wipes out your entire investment. Oh, it's got to the second intro portion of our show. G-Font. Hey, pal, an update on your show? Also, I'm too young to remember Ross Perot. Do you think it's possible to disrupt the current political system with independent? Any thoughts on who could do it? Well, it's easy to disrupt the system with independent. Because the independent is going to draw people from one side or the other usually. And, the entire reason Bill Clinton won in 92 was because of Ross Perot. Ross Perot actually was ahead, and he might have been the first independent candidate to win a presidency ever. But then he stopped his campaign, withdrew, and a couple months later was like, you know what, screw this, I'm running again. He managed to get like 19% or something. But I think it's quite possible for someone to disrupt enough. The number of votes that Ralph Nader got in 2000 was definitely enough to have turned the tides in several states for Gore. Yeah, so it's very possible. And I have no updates on the show. Everything goes so slow. Everyone promises me, oh, we're going to get this stuff. It's going to work so fast. We're just going to get to work. We're going to hammer through it. And then I'm just sit here and I wait. And I call. I'm like, hey, guys, what's going on? Oh, we're working on it. I'm like, cool. I'll wait some more. And I'll give them another call. I'm like, hey, I'm still waiting. They're like, yep, we're working real fast. I'm like, I don't know what you're working on. So I sit, I wait. And the entire goal is to get something out there and to be like talking to networks now, like this month. And we aren't. We have done nothing. We've just been sitting and waiting and waiting and sitting and sitting and waiting. And just, it's such a glacial pace and it drives me off the wall. So here we are. Bum, 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 bum. All right. Saudi wounded that one. Peter Carvalho, I hope I said that right. Houston, I can't thank you enough for your service. I'm on vacation in Gran Canaria, work in Switzerland, live in France, born and raised in Portugal. That is, you're everywhere. I really, really, really want to go to the Iberian Peninsula and check out Portugal and a lot of Spain. And I was hoping to do that this fall. And nothing MOAST. I was like, man, just need a MOAST. I can take that trip. Let's go do it. But I'll likely be back in Switzerland in January for my yearly vacation with my friends out there. I was just waiting for the plane ticket prices to get... And then... Because like if I use my air miles now, it uses up all my air miles. But if I wait until... It's usually in November... Sometime around Thanksgiving, the price to fly to Switzerland halves. And then all of a sudden, I can use half the air miles to get that flight done. So, I'm waiting. Siebes. What's with the SEC and Acme? If the changes were so minimal, why would it still take this long? The election, man. You don't want a stock all of a sudden going from $100 million market cap to $100 billion market cap in a week without monkey butt. Monkey. Just wait. Man, she's a licky dog today. Because it'll cause sorts of mayhem. It'll cause mayhem. It'll be all over the news, like what's going on with the economy? No one's managing properly, and then it will sway votes. And everything they're doing right now is trying to like minimize the amount of drama and volatility until we get past next Tuesday, and then free for all. Okay. Guitar stuff. Hey, Houston, happy birthday. Where was the plunge protection team yesterday? Did their fish forget their mattress? It was there. It worked really hard up until about, 1 p.m. East Coast time? Let me just scroll down to the SPY here. SPY, put the 1 week on. Yeah, sorry, till 11:30 a.m. yesterday. So it rocketed. It took it from, the SPY went from 380 to 387, and then after lunch, the plunge protection team turned it off and it plummeted again. So we're down like $15 on the SPY since then. So if you got SPY puts yesterday at 11:30 a.m., you just made $1,500 in each one of those things by today. So, yeah. Phil Bill, they know if debit Swiss fails, it will be a domino effect, so they will do everything to prevent it. After the 8th of November, though, it could be chaos. Yep. After next Tuesday, we start getting an idea of how everything goes and no more campaigning. Have at it, everybody. Go bonkers. Go nuts. I love the 70s porn stash. Thank you. Trey Spider, keep calm. Hold on. Hold on. Pedro, every comparison is played to Volkswagen. Obviously, nothing in common. But what about Overstock? What do you think of the comparison? Try to find flaws and yet looks the same. If everything goes pop, it's going to be bigger than Overstock because Overstock did not have tens of millions of investors and a weird cult of personality like these current plays do. Hi, buddy. Come here. Come on up here. Come on. I know you want some loving. And these plays are much bigger because of the number of retail investors involved. Remember, December 2020, there were 10,000 retail investors in GameStop. And by the time the baby squeeze was happening, there was like more than 1 million retail investors in GameStop. And by February, there was like 4 million retail investors in GameStop. You're just loving this, aren't you? It's just a good combination. The throat scratch / back scratch combo is just making her day right now. So there is, probably 20, 30, 40, 50 times the number of retail investors involved in these plays than there ever was in Overstock. So the fact that Overstock went from pennies to 160 or whatever will pale in comparison to what these things can do when they truly go nuts. Stripper Olympics 2026. I heard that they're going to try and bring pole dancing to the Olympics. Dude, the athleticism, I've like seen competitive videos. I'm like, oh yeah, that's really good. And I have my original geology lab partner from my first geology class. She went on, this is the weirdest shit. So she went on to star on MasterChef and with a girl I went to high school with. So I had 2 people on MasterChef in 1 year in like 2012, somewhere around there, both starring on MasterChef at the same time. My lab partner and a high school classmate. And then my lab partner went on, got a show on Vice doing aphrodisiacs, like a food show about traveling the world, eating aphrodisiacs, talking about sex and things like that. She's very pretty. And now she's like a professional competitive pole dancer. And so her entire Instagram feed is her like being really strong, dancing around like the hot lady she is. So if you guys look up Felix Fang, you'll see a really hot Taiwanese girl that is very strong and really good at pole dancing. And she had a show for a while on Vice and was on MasterChef. I knew her as Finny. She went by Finny back then. And then she became Felix when she did the whole Hollywood thing. But man, it's just, I can't do that. Peace Tech, used to never do a DNA test before. What do you think about those DNA testing companies? Should we be wary of them giving out our genetics? I have never done one, and I've told my family not to do one, simply because I have like 500 sperm donor babies out there, and I just don't need people tracking us down. I mean, I get enough DMs all day long from you folks. I don't need also like, hey, I think you're my dad DMs. And so hopefully all my cousins listen and don't do it. Please just don't do it. Plus on the, they got companies, these genealogy companies being sold to mega corporations and stuff, and their entire genetic databases are going to them. And it's just weird. I just think it's weird. And I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with it. I see S.S. Smith Johnson saying all bachelor parties. I'm talking about going to strip clubs. I'm going to Vegas on Saturday for a bachelorette party. One of my dearest friends is getting married next weekend, and I'm one of the bridesmaids, and we're gonna go to Vegas and I don't know, go to like a drag brunch or something, and see Cirque du Soleil, and then fly back home, which probably means it's very likely no show on Monday, or I don't know, maybe I'll find it somewhere. My flight is much later than everyone else's, so maybe I'll find somewhere and I'll go do an evening show before my flight. It'd be kind of funny to do just set up a laptop on the Vegas Strip and just do a show from there. Yeah, maybe that's what we'll do. All right. Get some hotel Wi-Fi, set up right on the Strip, and do an evening show right there from Vegas. Okay. And remember the computer. Gotta bring the computer. And make sure the computer's charged. Yes. All right. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. Wait, did I miss anyone? So I got meow meow. I'm not missing any super chats. Okay. Make sure I don't keep my eye on that. Okay. How far am I? I am an hour and 10 minutes behind again. It's okay. Daphne, are these people you know that own the restaurant in Sebastopol? Yes. Those folks. Delicious. If you go to Sebastopol, go to Ramen Gaijin. It is delicious. It is the best ramen I've had in America. They're Michelin rated. They're delicious. Sebastopol in Sonoma County. Go there. Ramen Gaijin is amazing. Matt will take care of you. And you can have ramen and delicious wine. Ted Tremendous Houston is now more mustache than man. It really does change the face, doesn't it? You add a lip worm to somebody, and like I'm looking at myself right now, I'm like, who is this? Who is this debonair member of the Village People? Monkey has Snoopy PSD. Hoshi Gaming, have you ever thought about letting us donate like $5 and let us play the intro? It'd be wild to see how many intros we get. We'll have to make it more than that, because I don't know if I can do an entire show where I'm just turning the intro on. Like, make it... Alright, how about this? Make it $20, and your entire comment just says intro. The intro will play. And $20. There. How about that? $5 is a little too... I don't know. I need to, like, make it more painful for you. So, yeah. Make it 20 and your comment be intro. I'll play an intro for you. There you go. And everyone else will go, oh my gosh, stop it. Scott Chocolate, Acme. Boom, boom. I will send you some chocolate that I make, hence the name. I'm waiting. We talked about me being the arbiter as to who makes the best chocolate. And so far, none of you have sent any chocolate to my P.O. box. Speaking of P.O. box, I have stickers went out. I am down to... How many stickers am I down to? I am down to... is that all of them? Is there any more in there? Oh, there's some more. Okay, I am down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 9 stickers left. If you send a self-addressed stamped envelope to the P.O. box in the description, I will get you one of these 9 stickers. If we get to the point where I am out of stickers, you will be receiving Valpak coupons that I receive in the mail. I will send them to you, and I will determine which Valpak coupons you are worthy of. But I've got 9 more. 9 more of these puppies before I'm all out, and I have no more Houston No Problem stickers. So, get them while you can. Send your self-addressed envelopes. I got a couple here I got to mail. One from Noah and one from David. Got to go out. So yes, send chocolate and self-addressed envelope, and I'll send you stickers. And oh crap, you guys are actually doing this. Intro. I guess I'm a man of my word. Okay, turn that off before I do it again. Okay. I can't believe you guys are actually doing this. Should I make it $50? Anyway, chocolate. Judge Tremendous. Hey, Houston, if Ryan Cohen tweets out yet another new photo of him with icann, is it game over for the shorts? Catalyst? Oh my god. Intro. The other intro. Should have never agreed to this. Okay, anyway. What was I talking about? Oh, icann. Game over for shorts. I think it is very deliberate and specific that he posted this picture of icann, and that there is definitely something going on with the two of them. I mean, why else would he post it, right? He likes to mess with people. He likes us to go, interesting, let's decipher everything that's happening here. And it can only be good. It can only be good. So that's why I like it. He posts another one with him, but this time in like I don't know, suit and tie, maybe, at a boardroom table. Might be cooler than just like shorts and a t-shirt. All right. And that PR team, you had a great day today. Drop a super chat and say hi to Houston. Yogi, that's funny. I'll give Monkey Butt a rawhide. You guys want to hear her chew on stuff for another 10 minutes or so? All right. Well, not a rawhide, but a pig ear. Oh, did I get your attention? Oh, look at that. Look who we got one more in here, dog. There's one more of the pig ears. Healthy treat for dogs. Brutus Barnaby, what a name. Okay. That bag's closed. Back up there. Is that what you want? Are you gonna be a good dog? Come here. Come here. Come on up. Come on up. There you go. Yeah, there you go. All right. Got a happy dog. You can hear some crunching for a while. The happy dog crunching. She learned the barking from Snoopy. That's true. I mean, normally, if someone comes over, you just hear Monkey Butt's tail going. That's how I know somebody just pulled in the driveway. Like UPS guy, whatever. It's just all after dark squeeze. God damn it. I'm going to have to get Scott to make like 5 more of these just to make it interesting, man. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So normally Monkey Butt just kind of slaps her tail around, and that's how I know people that are here. So when she's like, rawr, I'm like, that's so unlike you, Monkey. What's going on? Ben Myers, is T90 not going to happen for AMC next week? I think the T90's for like the 20th or something, isn't it? So we got a couple of weeks. Week of Thanksgiving, I think, is T90 for AMC. If it's calendar days. I do have people yell at me like, it's not calendar days, it's, business days. Which then means it's like January or something. But if it's calendar days, it'll be Thanksgiving. If it's business days, it's sometime in January. But that's a good crunch you got going there, Monkey. That's a real good crunch. You're crunching with the best of them, buddy. Okay. Martin Weiss, since Elon could take Twitter private and dictate the share price, what would keep Kenny from buying GME at, say, $35 a share? A couple of things. One, shareholder approval. I think GME has to have shareholder approval for a takeover bid. Two, if there are 4 billion short shares out there, then you have to multiply that $35 times 4 billion, and that's what the shorts are going to have to pay out. And if Citadel and others are short on GME, that means they're going to be paying out the extra funds as well. So it's going to be end up being instead of being the $35 for 300 million shares, it's going to be $35 for 4 billion of them, and it's going to wipe out shorts everywhere. They can't afford it because they shorted it like $2. So that's all ridiculous. That's the problem. Whereas Twitter didn't have the same amount of short shares, so when it came time to close out those positions with it private, they just paid $54.20 for like the 10% that it was short, and done. Rather than the 1,000% that it's short or whatever. It's Lee Houston. Are you planning to make Musubis with that can of Spam behind you? No, because that can of Spam is from my 14th birthday, which was 27 and a half years ago. So no one should eat that Spam. I may see if I hold on to it long enough, and that guy that eats the wartime rations on YouTube ever wants to put that sucker on the tray, I'll see if he wants to have a 27-year-old can of Spam. But there it sits for nearly 30 years. I mean, it hasn't bulged. It's a time capsule. You can order Spam stuff on the back and get yourself a hat or a t-shirt or even boxer shorts. Buying Spam lunch and meat gets you more than great tasting meals and snacks. You can also get cool Spam stuff free with required proofs of purchase plus shipping and handling, or save Spam points, CUPC code, and get Spam stuff at great prices. It's a great way to show your loyalty to one of the world's best known brands. Look for Spam Stuff catalog in this store or visit us at www.spam.com on the web. So they had themselves a website in 1995 for Spam. You could order things. I cannot tell what the expiration date is, and it's got some weird code and a normal expiration date. But yeah, Spam stuff. So yeah, 27-year-old can of Spam. There we go. Man, making work of that thing, monkey. Good job. Good job. All right. Oh, G-Phone, I paid for Super Chat, but it didn't appear in the chat screen. That's why, guys, we're doing the testing. I'm sorry, G-Phone. Is above threshold. Weird. I'm sorry, bud. I don't know what YouTube is doing. Don C. Jashadam, my grandparents used to sit around the radio at night, 1940s. My wife and I revived the tradition 3 times a week. We tune in and set the phone aside and listen to Radio Houston. Listen to the top hits of Radio Houston. Coming to you live from some random room on Bainbridge Island. Where you can listen to things like the dog lick her butthole, and the dog chew on the ear of a pig, and the dog growl when someone pulls into the driveway. All the top hits from me to you. John B. Houston think the Royal Cartel members share their production and capacity info since the mid-90s. A friend helped write the software for them. I don't know what that is. Talking about like the Saudi royals and their oil production. I have a feeling that there is a larger black market oil market than people lead on to believe. Prior to the U.S. invading in 2003, there was a significant amount of black market Iraqi oil that made it to the United States. Something like 10% was black market oil that was basically being flagged to someone else, brought into the U.S. Whole investigation was done about it. I wouldn't doubt if there's significant amounts of black market oil. And I wouldn't doubt if you've got nations like Saudi Arabia that sell oil legitimately and then backdoor oil as well. It's a great way to take care of both markets and make money off both ends. When my brother worked at Oakley, I told Oakley to do that. Because you guys go and they see the fake Oakleys, the Folkleys in places, right? And Oakley makes sunglasses. They may as well make the real sunglasses, sell those suckers for hundreds of dollars each, and then make a whole bunch of cheap sunglasses and sell those and take care of both markets at the same time. Might as well corner both of them, right? So I wouldn't put it past the big oil guys of doing both. Because why not? Why not take both markets if the market's going to be there? What's up late to the stream? How about the new YouTube layout? Love it or hate it? I only see my... let's see here. Let's just go... I only see my YouTube studio thing because I never really look at the other... Alright, it's a little different. Okay. Hey, it's telling me that I'm going live right now and there's 370 watching. Now I'm getting a thing. You're so close. Boost your earning potential and reward your audience. Finish setting up channel memberships. I don't know what that is. We'll look at that later. Okay. 414. Okay. I have got to get going here. I'm just curious why you still have the spam. Why not? I mean, it's not that I hate eating spam. It's just that I never made that one, and then it just sat there forever. I was like, well, now it's decoration at this point. Okay. Okay. Tyler English, Bubbaism. I want to make an intro for you, Professor. Give me a theme. Maybe Christmas intro for down the line. Maybe collab with Scott. Sure. Give me holiday intros. Why not? Make me some holiday intros there, Tyler. And we'll throw them in there. And then we can have a Christmas and a New Year's and a Valentine's Day and Carnival and St. Patrick's Day and Easter and... I don't know, Labor Day or something, 4th of July, Yom Kippur, whatever. Like, lay 'em on me, man. Lay 'em on me. I got to go Astros down here. The Astros did throw a no-hitter yesterday, which you get tip of the cap. That's, and you set history, the only second no-hitter in World Series history. And it's a joint effort. Those joint effort no-hitters are pretty spectacular. There was one the Mariners had a couple years ago. I think like 4 or 5 pitchers coming together to combine for no-hitter. Just good job, right, Monkey? You finish your year. Good job. Just in time for us to end the show, basically. If I didn't get to your chats, I'm so sorry. And you weirdos that would keep wanting the intro, I should have made it like $50. I'm an idiot. I still have this guy. If you guys want to throw something up here, by all means, send me a DM. $50. We'll throw you up there. That's all we got today, Monkey? Yeah, we'll do a show tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be an afternoon show or a nighttime show. I gotta get some chores done. We'll see. But anyway, we will see you guys tomorrow at some point, right? Monkey Butt, you agree? And now one more for you because we were done like 10, so